The question is that the amendment be disagreed to, and I call the honourable member for Warrawa.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I rise to make my contribution to the Australian Organ Tissue Donation and Transplantation Authority Amendment, the Governance and Other Measures Bill 2021. Labor agrees to support the reasonable changes set out in this bill as it reforms the governance structure of the Australian Organ and Tissue Donation and Transplantation Authority, the OTA, following advice from Dr Mal Washer, Chair of the Organ and Tissue Authority Board, to enable the Board to have a more strategic and advisory focus. The current governance structure was established on 1 July 2017, establishing the Board as an accountable authority of Organ and Tissue Authority under the PGPA Act. This resulted in the OTA becoming the first non-corporate Commonwealth entity to have a governance board as the accountable authority. In July 2020, the Organ and Tissue Authority Governance Board undertook an internal review as required under the board's charter, which indicated a clear consensus from board members the need for increased time and capacity to contribute to the organisation's strategic direction and provide advice and support to the CEO. This bill will transition the role of the accountable authority from the board back to the CEO and replace the existing governance board with an advisory board under the Australian Organ and Tissue Donation Transplantation Authority Act 2008. These governance changes will revert to the approach first implemented by Labor in 2008 and align the authority with the governance structures of most other non-corporate Commonwealth entities. Deputy Speaker, I wanted to use my remaining time in the debate to encourage and support organ and tissue donation in our country, just as all of the speakers before me have done. Quite simply, organ and tissue donations save and transform lives. Even just one organ or tissue sample donated can change the lives of more than 10 people. Our hospitals follow world's best practice, with specialist doctors and nurses supporting donation and transplantation in 95 hospitals across Australia. 1 in 3 Australians are registered donors, despite almost 70% of Australians believing that registering for organ donation is important. However, organ donation is a rare event. Only 2% of people who die in an Australian hospital meet the criteria to be an organ donor. That's almost 1,300 lives. Since the National Program for Organ and Tissue Donation began in 2009, there have been over 14,000 organ transplant recipients from more than 5,000 donors. Organ and tissue donation can come from a person living or deceased. Deceased individuals can donate whole body, and even if that individual has endured health challenges such as diabetes, arthritis, heart disease or cancer. Many body parts can be donated, such as lungs, heart,